Trans? Gender?
Trampled on pride flags in front of a school.
Someone has to say it. These pride parades have gotten disgusting.
We're here, we're queer, and we're not going away.
Can a driver defacing a mural meant to celebrate South Florida's LGBTQ?
Authentic self.
Book burnings, anger, violence, there seems to be a lot directed at the community. But with me, I have a limited amount of knowledge, being a lone straighty and all. That's right, I know what you've been calling us. That being said, I appreciate it, thank you, it's a fun name. So I needed someone on the inside, who was
Born in it, molded by it.
and who could really give an accurate representation of what the community represents. Which is where my friend and newest neighbor, Ellie, comes into play. She's very much a part of the LGBTQ plus community and can really shed some light on some things that us straighties may not be able to truly and fully understand. Like, do they have some sort of secret communication? What about proudness of pride? Is it too much? Is the community one big hive mind? What's their end game, huh? There must be some sort of all-encompassing goal that they're shooting for. And lastly, yeah, it may be all voguing and big fans now, but with everyone seemingly joining the LGBTQ plus community left and right, are we in store for a future filled with rainbow roads, 9-inch stilettos, and awe-inspiring acrylics? I don't know, but let's find out. But how are we gonna get there? Moogly! Let's ride! Have you found a sense of community, specifically in the LGBTQ plus community?
Yeah, I would say so. Often how you interact maybe with straight people or gay people, not, they're all people, but you do change how you behave and maybe what jokes you make and just how you act. I do tend to find people who are more like me, where they're very outspoken with their sexuality. It generally... Often what happens is maybe they've come from a place where they haven't been able to be as outspoken with their sexuality, or, they've had a hard time processing it, coming to terms with it. So when they do meet people, it's I'm gay. Please God, that's all you gotta know about me. I'm gay. You're so desperate to just tell everyone, but you do have to somewhat rein it in. And I don't want to say rein it in, but just have the realization you don't have to hide it anymore. You're not you figured it out. You can be at peace. You don't have to come out the gate swinging. So there's a big thing in the gay community which has a bit of a discourse around it, where young people who recently come out, oftentimes, and they're so cute, you'll see them at Pride with rainbow flags tied around their neck, the rainbow paint, rainbow everything. They are so proud to just be out and to be loud. And some members of the community someone would say oh, it's tacky, or it's kind of you don't need to be that open about it. It's very a young thing to do. When you first come out, you're gonna get, you make it your kind of whole thing. It's I'm
your
out.
Identity.
Yeah, I'm out, I'm proud, this is who I am.
Sure.
But then you kind of start to ease, as you get older, you ease into it more, and you're just yeah, I'm gay, but it's not my whole identity.
You see that? I caught her in 4K. People that are part of the LGBTQ plus community do talk differently than they do with straight people. It's a different form of communication, and thus a mindset for world domination. Woo! Got her. Done. Yes. Wait a second. We all have different forms of communication, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's for nefarious intent. Let's think about it, right? We all interact with each other differently depending on who we're around. We're not going to be sexually explicit and vulgar in front of our grandparents. We're not going to curse and be violent in front of children. We're not going to talk to someone who thinks that Digimon in any way was better than Pokemon, because those people don't exist. But why do we act differently depending on who we're around? Well, the psychological phrase is called self-monitoring, and it means how much you pay attention to how you're perceived and then change your behavior accordingly. People with low self-monitoring, to put it frankly, just don't give a fuck, and they're going to continue acting the same way regardless of who's around them. And then in contrast, you can probably assume what high self-monitoring people do and how they behave. And I think people are also going to consider their safety as well. When you're talking to someone you don't know, you never know what someone may think of your values or beliefs, and unfortunately, sometimes it's better to say nothing than to say something. But let's just say in this scenario, we're all friends. We're all kind of on the same page. When we're around our friends, we're comfortable. We know that we can act and behave in ways that they will find funny and acceptable, and they might even join in. But the word friend is a very umbrella term, right? There's going to be some friends that you can talk to some things about and others that you can't. And I think the same can be said for anyone that's a part of the LGBTQ plus community. We may have a bunch of similarities, but I, as a cis straight male, may not be able to connect on a personal level about certain things that they might be going through. And let's not even use the LGBTQ plus community, right? Let's just say men and women. Men and women can be friends, right? I have plenty of friends that are women, but I can talk on a balled up hand my personal experience about having a period. I mean, I've had conversations about it, sure, but I can't personally talk about how I can't help that I have a heavy flow and a wide set vagina. So that can never be a shared experience for me, but it can amongst other women. So now folding in the LGBTQ plus community, it makes sense that there are certain conversations and beliefs and jokes and values that they have that they may not be able to share with other people outside the community. So moving into our next topic, are you showing too much pride?
Looks like another day of sucking cocks.
And Ellie talks about it, right? There's dissension within the LGBTQ plus community of, are you showing too much pride? Does it need to be 24/7, or can you tone it down a little bit? But I think the easiest way is to start with this. Why is there a need to show off so much pride, so much self-expression? Self-expression is learned at birth. It's a survival tactic. And we learn to cry in different ways to convey what we need to survive.
Oh no, cookies! I gotta get cookies!
But as we grow older, we understand that one cry is not enough to convey everything that we may need. It needs to be more specific. And thus we learn a different type of crying technique that's a little bit more advanced: speech.
Peas! I want peas! We've been doing sweet potatoes 3 days in a row! Does this house hate greens? I want peas!
And as we grow and evolve, we learn that how we express ourselves directly relates to our survival and making sure our social needs are met. However, sometimes a problem can occur. As we become old enough to make our own opinions, we start to figure out that some of this learned behavior may contradict with our values and beliefs. And that can be devastating towards our mental health. I mean, just imagine it. What you've been taught in life starts to contradict you, especially when how we want to express ourselves isn't supported by those around us. It can make someone feel frustrated and sad and lost when they can't express their authentic self. For so long, being told how you should behave and who you should hang around and who you should or should not like. And let's just say they did want to express their true selves. Maybe they have fear of being ostracized by their family or by their community. And being in that type of environment, having to have all those repressed feelings can just lead to severe anxiety and depression. And I talk about that in a previous episode about the dangers of pushing down your feelings and what it can do to you mentally, physically, and emotionally. But let's just say you do push past and boom, you're out of the cage. Understandably, you're gonna be f***ing loud and f***ing proud about that. I mean, they literally call it coming out of the closet. Last time I checked, closets are small, dark, and cramped places. That's why they call it coming out of the closet, not coming out of the atrium. And let's make another comparison, right? I love anime. And in no way am I trying to compare anime to coming out, because they are on completely different scales, but just go with me here. And this is Boomer Talk, but back in the day, you did not talk about liking anime. You were just to yourself. That was it. Keep it to yourself and don't tell anybody, or else you're gonna get ostracized by everybody in your community. And then boom, I'm in college and I'm meeting a bunch of new people that love anime. My freshman year, I was at Howard, and not only did my roommate love anime, but I'm not kidding, the first or second day, there was a guy walking on campus that was in a full Akatsuki fit, and he was amazing. But like anything, a little can go a long way.
This is our season finale with everybody watching? It didn't make any sense. I mean, sure, Black Star and Death the Kid, they did a great job, but they weakened him so much that all she needed was these? I didn't get it. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. Yes, sorry. I'm so sorry. You look beautiful. You look great. No, but really, I don't understand. understand.
But I have a hard time blaming anyone, especially when it's their first time coming out. It's fresh and it's new, and especially when you're young, you have a whole bunch of shit you're trying to figure out in your life. And besides that, you have no idea what someone must have gone through to get to where they're at, to be able to express themselves in the way that they feel comfortable. And yes, like Ellie said, there's gonna be people out there that are gonna be very loud and very proud. But eventually we all come down because we realize it's not our personality. It's an important part of you, yes, but it's not all of you.
I remember one of my friends, he was bisexual, but he never really felt that community, quote unquote. He always said like, oh, we're not a hive mind, which at the time I threw it back very hard. I was like, what do you mean? But now I understand that, yeah, we're not a hive mind. Often when people talk about the LGBT community, it does somewhat feel like, oh, are we all in a group chat?
Conferences.
Yeah, exactly.
Your conferences, right? Then you come back and you tell the world what's up. You're
the gay agenda.
The gay agenda.
Exactly. We aren't a hive mind that within the LGBT plus community there are, you know, people against each other, people who are prejudiced against other sexualities, other races, anything.
Sure.
When you talk about the LGBT plus community, I feel like I define it more as my friends who are gay and trans and bi. That's my LGBTQ plus community. Like, yeah, there's all the other people on the internet who, you know, I see post and have their struggles.
Sure.
And yes, they are LGBTQ plus.
Yeah.
But they're still strangers at the end of the day.
Right.
Where we have this struggle in common. But yeah, it's that idea again of not making LGBT plus your entire identity. My sexuality is not my entire identity.
So, is the LGBTQ plus community a hive mind? I think the simplest answer is no. I mean, of course not. To dig even further, I think it's important to define what a community is. A unified body of individuals, people with common interests, living in a particular area, blah, 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 blah. I mean, you know what a community is. But I think it's unrealistic to assume that anyone has the same values and beliefs just because they're a part of the same community. For example, let's take two people, Blair White and Amir Odom. Blair being a transgender woman who politically views herself as center-right leaning, and Amir, a gay black man whose takes and views very much contradict what left-leaning and LGBTQ people think politically and socially when it comes to the LGBTQ plus community. And it's not as if these two are sole outliers. There's plenty of people that comment on their videos and that subscribe to them that are part of the LGBTQ plus community and agree with their takes and their beliefs. You know, I'm black and I consider myself a part of the black community. You know who else is black and a part of the black community? This guy. This guy's black and a part of the black community.
Do you like teenage girls?
When you say teenage, how are we talking?
No, for real. Do you think I agree with this flapping anus and his stance on things? And this all just trails back to what Ellie said. Being a part of the LGBTQ plus community does not mean that that is all that you are. It does not represent you and everything that you stand for. I have met plenty of people that are part of the community that are super vocal about their rights and their political stances. And in contrast, I've met plenty of other people that just want to be left the alone. Especially when there are things out there that don't even involve them. Remember a while back when JoJo Siwa got bum rushed with that super intense political question and she was just like, Meh?
Do you think every liberal Democrat should take home a migrant to show their support for
God,
the open border?
JoJo!
Now imagine you, an everyday person, being put on the hot spot and having to answer whatever questions are related to a community that you're a part of.
Excuse me, brother. I'm with Brothers and Sisters United. As we speak, Oprah is currently punching orphans in the face after one of them called her talk show average. As someone who's a part of the black community, do you agree with her stance and will you join her on her onslaught to obliterate the orphans?
No?
Oh.
So yes, while some may be a part of the community by default, it does not mean that they think and operate the same way.
Understanding that just because it is the minority, saying community might seem a little bit off-putting, and you know, it's
might have similar experiences because you are members of the same community, but you're not exactly the same.
Right.
And so you can't be expected to, like, you know, build this entire utopia.
It would make sense that if you are a lesbian, that you would have other open-minded friends who might also be bisexual or be gay or
it really is a thing
trans or whatever.
That you, once you kind of come out as gay, you just start to attract gay people.
Correct. Yeah.
It's just like almost unconsciously happens that you just find yourself with more LGBT friends.
Right.
You kind of you start to run in those circles a bit. You start to you want to find like-minded people. You want to see if anyone's had struggles like yourself, or if you enter the dating scene, then you'll just start to gain friends and you'll start to know people. So yeah.
Are we under attack? Is the LGBTQ plus community out for world domination? Will there be a gay apocalypse? Yes! Come on, man. Now, when talking to Ellie about her LGBTQ plus community, it's just her friends who are gay, lesbian, whatever. And yes, they all are a part of the community, but it's only because they fall under the umbrella of it. There's no agenda. This isn't the Illuminati for gays. They're not all moving to change the world and take over. If the question remains, well, why do people of the LGBTQ plus community gravitate and attract towards one another? The simplest answer I can give is, why the hell not? But we don't do that here. That's not enough. Give me more. Well, looking into it psychologically, we can break it down into 4 main points: consensual validation, cognitive evaluation, certainty of being liked, and self-expansion opportunity. Consensual validation is meeting people who share our same values and beliefs and make us feel more confident because of that in the world. Cognitive evaluation focuses on how we form impressions of other people by generalizing from information we have. So when we learn that a person has something in common with us, it makes us feel more positively about that person because we feel positively about ourselves. Certainty of being liked makes us assume that someone who has a lot in common with us is more likely to like us. And in turn, we are more likely to like that person because we think they will like us. And self-expansion opportunity is the theory that we will gain new knowledge and experience by spending time with people who are like-minded like us. At the end of the day, we like who we like. And being gay, lesbian, trans, pansexual, it can be difficult. And a lot of times you're going to find yourself in the minority of your community. Having people that can connect and relate with you is so important because no one can really understand you more than someone that's experienced something that you have as well. And no, it's not exact, but it's much easier to connect with somebody, help them, and support them if they've experienced what you have too, rather than haven't. To round it all out, we can go back to what Ellie said and something that I've continuously pushed throughout this whole video. Being a part of the LGBTQ plus community does not define you, nor your beliefs or your values. And making an assumption about someone's values and beliefs just because they're a part of a community is the same as making assumptions about my values and beliefs because I'm a part of this community. If you've made it this far, thanks for sticking around. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. It really helps. And if you really like the video, please subscribe and become a part of the neighborhood. I think we're having a cookout the week after tomorrow, so bring paper towels and an umbrella. It's gonna rain. As always, take your time, take a breath, and take care. Okay? Bye! So the question remains, is your passion killing you? Yeah, kinda. So what can we do? Well, for starters, I am always gonna suggest